Okay, so we are we're gonna begin in a seat. So any seat that works for you, I'll just pin myself here. Any seat that works for you, just to find yourself within this space, allow yourself to settle, get rid of that list that's in your head of all the things that you've got to do. And when you're ready, allow yourself to get a little heavier through the sit bones, a little heavier through the back body, but a little taller through the crown of the head. When I say heavier through the back body, I don't mean leaning backwards. I mean shift yourself energetically to your spine. And think of your spine as this nice tall implement propping you up. I'm enjoying so much the days lengthening out just a little bit more now that we've passed the spring equinox. And you can tell that it's happening. It's just a buzz about. We're going to do a pranayama that echoes what's happening to the days. Viloma 1. So as the days lengthen, our energy gets a little brighter. We have a little bit more energy. I like to think of energy as your inhale. It's kind of excitement, and sleep and calm as your exhale. So Viloma 1 is a 3-part inhale and a 1 long exhale. I want you to think of these 3 inhales like your spine growing, your body expanding, the days lengthening, and that 1 long exhale as that continuing, still, steady night, that rhythm that keeps us there at the end of the excitement of our days. So I'll lead you through it, and then I'll let your own rhythm and pace work with the breath work. So let's start first of all with a deep breath in through the nose. A big sigh through the mouth. And seal your lips and breathe in for 1, 2, pause. Breathe in for 3, 4, pause. Breathe in for 5, 6, pause, and feel all that breath in your body. And then slowly exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same again. Breathe in for 1, 2, pause. Inhale 3, 4, pause. Exhale 5, 6, pause. Did I say exhale? I hope I didn't. And then exhale fully now for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Same again. Inhale 1, 2, pause. Inhale 3, 4, pause. Inhale 5, 6, pause. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, pause. Inhale 3, 4, pause. Inhale 5, 6, pause. Exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue in this pattern. So inhaling 3 times, exhaling once. Keep going. Notice how even though we exhale for a shorter count than we inhale, you still receive that nourishment from the exhale, that calm and stillness from the out breath. Let's do one more round. If you've just finished an exhale, do one more. And then once you've completed that final Viloma breath, allow your breath to come back to a steady, more naturalistic rhythm. Start to take gentle movements with your head and neck. Take your hands to your shoulders. Eyes can be shut if you want to here. And start making circles with your elbows. Maybe these are little circles, maybe they're large. Just in one direction. Feel a nice little wrist stretch as you do this. Then change the direction that you're going. And then we're going to extend both hands out at shoulder height, so a little higher than you might usually. Notice how that kind of crunches into your neck, and see if you can encourage your head to grow a little taller as you do this. From here, flip your palms so that they're facing up towards the ceiling, and imagine you're holding something in each of your hands, a little gentle weight. Draw your shoulder blades together a touch, and soften the shoulders a little bit so that your arms are at a more kind of sustainable shape. Feel the weight of your hands, the weight of the arms pulling against the shoulders. Notice how heavy your body is. You do such a good job at carrying yourself around all day. And then from here, we're going to take a twist over to the right hand side. So left hand to your right knee, right hand back behind you. And as you take the twist, feel the shape in your spine, but also feel all the blood coming back into your arms. A reassuring heaviness of the body, keeping us grounded, keeping us going. Then take your twist round to the left hand side, right hand to your left knee, left hand back behind you. Notice if you're still feeling the effects of holding the arms out wide. Come back round through center, take your hands to your knees, and just a little bit more movement before we become still. Let's take some circles with the hips. Leaning forwards and then backwards, really crunching into your belly as you lean backwards, really pushing through the heart space as you lean forwards. If you've had dinner quite recently, you can do smaller versions of this. Think of this as a cat-cow movement in the spine. And come to stillness once you've done this a couple of times. And grab whatever you're using today, so books, bolsters, blocks, whichever is the more sturdy option. So Susan, I would use your book. We're going to come into a standing position, but just for a very brief period of time. If you've got a bolster, grab your bolster for this. So, I need to move my camera. I'll be fine because I'm coming down low. So we're going to take a supported Uttanasana. So if you've got a bolster, take the bolster up onto its tall setting. Take your hands to it and then straighten the legs and allow your head to come down between the arms. If you're using a block, or if that's too intense on the legs, take your hands down to the block, press fingertips or palms to the block and try and keep your legs nice and straight. So you're making your body into this little kind of blocky shape, lots of right angles at the hips, right angles at the shoulders and the chest. Nice, and from here start to pull your weight back into your sit bones, but keep your hands where they are. If you need to move your block or bolster a little further forward, do that. We want to start opening up into the back of the hamstrings. Try and lean your weight so far back into the heels that you feel like you might almost feel over, but know that you won't because you're holding onto a prop. Soften through the head. That looks good, everyone. Good. And then start to take a gentle bend into your knees. Push your bolster or your block a little further away, drawing your chest down towards your thighs. Get really low, as low as you can without it being uncomfortable. And then start to bend the knees so much so that you're going to land yourself in a little malasana, a little squat shape. Hands can still be towards the bolster if you want to, or you can let your hands come to the floor or maybe even to your heart. Draw the shoulder blades back together because they're going to be pretty separate now. Toes can turn outwards for a bit more space. Try and bring yourself into a calmer space. If you need to sit on something here, please do. The sensation we're wanting to get is an openness through the hips. And I want you to think about this opposition, this juxtaposition between yin and yang that we play with often, and think of the yin as winter or night, yang as the spring and summer months or daytime. Try and find that balance between the two. In the shape that we're in at the moment, there's a lot of heat through the spine and through the hips. But there's also a comfort and stillness in coming into this very natural shape. Humans are meant to squat like this. Try and find that balance between the comfort and the discomfort. Two more breaths here, doing really well. And bring yourself down to the ground. Let's come into a wee child's pose to soften that shape. Knees together unless you're enjoying that width in the hips. Forehead towards the floor or a block. Hands can be out in front of you or back behind you. Slowly start to bring yourself onto your belly, setting up for Sphinx pose. And if you like to use props for Sphinx, you can. So if you like to have a bolster underneath your armpits or a cushion, then you can do that. So lying on your belly, take your shoulders on top of the elbows, spread your fingertips wide, gently tug the mat backwards underneath your hands so you can pull yourself forwards. We haven't practiced Sphinx for quite a wee while in class, so if you're finding that your shoulders are feeling really close to your neck or anything at all is feeling a bit weird, then you can soften the shape a touch. Don't feel like you need to be really rigid in this. Maybe moving the elbows further forward or the hands a little wider. A really nice option for Sphinx is to cradle your head in your hands, a nice bend in the elbows. Just check in on your jaw for the next few breaths. Make sure it's not clenching. And if you are enjoying the shape in your spine, you can stay as you are with your elbows on the ground. If it's starting to feel a little too loud, you can take your hands underneath your forehead and lay your chest on the ground. The next step is to bend into your left knee and draw it up towards your elbows. So regardless of whether your hands are underneath your head and your head is on the floor, or if your hands are still on the mat and your elbows are propping you up, we're going to bend into that left knee. Temptation is going to be to roll over onto your right hip a little more. Let's see if we can almost flatten out through the back of the hips so that vacant space between the floor and your hip is getting a little smaller as you press down just lightly through the left hip point. Good, yeah, perfect. Good. Okay, from here, swap your legs over. So this time you're drawing the right knee up. Nice. And again, you can stay high here or you come down low onto your hands, whatever feels better. Okay, from here, extend your right leg. Come to lie down on your belly with your hands supporting your head. Elbows are wide. Or if it's comfortable for you, you can extend your hands back behind you and take your forehead or one side of your head to the ground. From here, gently push yourself up into a tabletop pose. Take your time, maybe take a couple of wee cat-cows when you reach tabletop. From here, press your left hand down to the ground, and as you inhale, reach your right arm up to the sky, taking a big twist. And then thread your right hand underneath your left armpit, extending your left hand out in front of you, coming into a nice long twist, drawing your chest down towards the ground as you do so. So it's a twisted Anahatasana. To add a bit more stretch into your lats, you can walk your left hand over to the right hand side of your mat, taking that wee diagonal. Still trying to keep things nice and heavy and effortless as possible. Okay, let's swap round this twist. So come back into your tabletop. This time, as you inhale, reach your left arm to the sky. And as you exhale, thread your left hand underneath your right armpit, drawing the left shoulder to the ground, reaching your right hand away from you as you melt your chest down. And if you want to add that extra wee kick, you can walk your right hand to the left. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Press yourself back into a child's pose. Arms extended if that feels okay. Maybe you want to continue finding that stretch in the shoulders. You can bend the elbows and take your hands to prayer, maybe taking the hands behind your neck. So bum drawing towards your heels for child's pose. Even the practice of yin is really slow and effortless. It's important to have these rebounds, these softer shapes like child's pose or shavasana peppered throughout, so that you build in time to rest. Okay, bring yourself back into your tabletop and grab your blanket or your bolster, whatever you're using, and lay it between the hands and the knees, horizontally across your mat. And from here, we're going to take the right foot towards the right hand, so taking the right foot over the top of the bolster, and we lunge. Then walk your right foot over to the left-hand side of your mat. Allow your right knee to come to the ground. Allow the front of the left thigh to meet the bolster. And then walk your left foot backwards so that you're feeling, hopefully, the pelvis reaching towards the bolster. And don't worry if you're not quite there, especially if you're feeling tight in that right hip. The bolster might still be quite far down your thigh. That's okay. Gently give the bolster a wee squeeze with the back of the right leg drawing backwards, the front of the left hip drawing forwards. We've got this little squeeze situation. We'll take a couple of breaths nice and tall. Check that your left foot has the top of the left foot on the floor and the sole is reaching or is facing the sky. Yeah. You can come a little higher if you want to, if you enjoy that stretch. Nice big active back bend. Take a big breath in. Big sigh. And then lower yourself down. Maybe to forearms, maybe resting on your book or block. Or perhaps you're coming all the way down, resting your forehead to the ground or your hands. If you suddenly start to feel it's way too loud in the right hip, then you can make a stronger diagonal with the right knee. So pull the right knee up.
Point the right toes down. You can also remove the bolster if you want, but I do find it softens aspects of pigeon.
Got another 5 breaths here, doing really well. It's a really strong shape. Notice how your body and your mind have reacted to the intensity of the asana. Have you spent the whole time desperate to get out, or have you sunk in and explored your frustrations? Or sat with them? Okay, let's start to move out of the shape. You can either press yourself into a seat or into downward dog. It just depends on your energy levels. If you're coming into a seat, you can pull that left leg upwards, maybe take a little sit on your bolster or blanket. Maybe even play with straightening out the legs. It's quite a lovely sensation. And we'll make our way back into tabletop again. So this time we're going to take the left foot to the left hand. And I'm saying to rather than to the inside or to the outside, because I don't really mind where it goes. Just do what works for you. And then walk your right foot over to left foot over to the right hand side. Release the left knee to the floor. Extend your right leg backwards and find that little squeeze of your prop. Pulling the left leg backwards this time and the right leg forwards. Checking that the bottom of your right foot's facing the sky. Top of the right foot is towards the ground. Enjoy a bit of height first of all. Maybe drawing the chest forwards. It's a really nice antidote to the previous shape. And then start to make your way down. Maybe starting off in forearms before you come lower, or maybe staying here. Okay, let's start to shift out of the shape, coming into your rebound, whether that's a seat or downward dog. Take your time. If you're coming into a seat, you can maybe massage the legs, whether the legs are extended or crossed. And if you're in downward dog, I think we're all sitting actually. Let's come to a seat. And we're gonna, I'm gonna squeeze in an extra one because we've got a bit of extra time. This might be subtle depending on what props you're using. So I don't know how much you're gonna get out of this one, Susan, but it should still hopefully feel nice. We're gonna shove whatever our bolster is, whether it's blankets or a bolster pillows, to the bottom of the mat. And from here, we're gonna situate ourselves on our bellies, but with our feet on the mat, on the bolster. And we're gonna come down to the ground and rest our hands underneath our forehead. Now it is pretty subtle, but you get this slight extension through the legs. If you find that you're getting nothing from this, then I'd like you to move your bolster further up your legs so that you've got a bit of a lift in the knees. So if your knees are firmly planted to the ground, keep moving your prop or move your body down until you've got a slight lift in the knees, so you just get that gentle extension of the hip. Very subtle wee back bend. Let's continue to extend in the hip. We'll come into a nice passive back bend. You can use your bolster or your block for this depending on how loud you want it to be in the spine. So if you feel like your back is really needing a good back bend, use your bolster. If you're feeling pretty tired, use your block or your book. When you're ready, we're gonna lie on the back. We're gonna roll our prop underneath our lower back. So just a classic passive back bend. Be mindful if you're using a bolster for this that we're not allowing the bolster to creep up to the lumbar spine, and we're still keeping the bolster on the bum and the lower back as well. And extend your legs away from you. And you can reach your arms back behind you if you want, or you can have the hands by your side or on top of the bolster. Whatever feels good. Very sweet. We've got Frank joining us this evening, and he's looking at us both like we are absolutely bananas. Option to stay with your legs extended like this, or if you fancy, you can bring your feet to touch. Okay, from here, let's start thinking about what our Shavasana is going to look like. Think about what you need to grab before you move. Jumpers, socks, etc. Think about how you're going to lie. Once you've got that all planned out, start making your journey to the real reason why we're all here. Make sure whichever setup you end up in is sustainable and cozy. Allow your body to rest. Soften all your muscles. Relax all the points of tension and clenching. And sink into your state of relaxation, of chill, of downtime for the next few minutes or so. You can stay here if you want. Or you can begin to wake up, bringing a bit more movement and energy back into the body. If you want, you can deepen your breath. And if you fancy coming back into the room, you can bring yourself to a seat. That's no pressure, everyone. Do what feels good for you. Take a wee minute just to recognize your efforts. Bring one hand to your belly, the other to your heart. And let's take one deep sigh together. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Thank you so much. Good job. Feel free to stay where you are. I'll go turn off the camera. Lots of love.